Alright guys, we are starting section 12.4 today. We're going to do this for 2 days. Today is going to be focused in on angles and circles, and tomorrow is going to be on segments and circles. We are also working towards an in-class assignment on a lot of what we learned in chapter 12 at the end of the week, so that should be on Friday. So the first chart you see here is trying to break down the difference between what we talked about earlier this chapter and some of the new stuff that we're going to talk about. So everything we look at today, the first question I'm going to have you answer is, where is the vertex? So that's like the corner of the angle. So if the vertex is at the center, smack dab in the center, then the angle is actually equal to the arc. Those are equal to each other. And then this is what we talked about last week. If the vertex is on the center, both of these pictures, the vertex is on the center. Angle 2 here is actually going to be half the arc because it's being pulled away. So that would be half of B. Angle 3 here is going to be half of C. Okay? The last two parts are what's new for today, but you're going to see some of the old parts mixed in as well. So if the vertex is inside but it's not at the center, so something like this vertex here, that's definitely not in the middle, but it's inside, to find the angle, you actually take half of the intercepted arc and the vertical arc, the arc that's across from it, and you add them together. So angle 4 here is going to be half of the sum of those two arcs, so D plus E. It's always the one that's straight across from it and then the one that's also vertical to it. Those are the two you want to use. And then lastly, if the vertex is outside the circle, which we see in these two pictures on the right, if the vertex is outside of the circle, it's half of the farther arc minus the closer arc. So if I want to find angle 5 here, I'm going to do 1/2 of, it's again farther minus closer, so it's going to be F minus G. And then same thing, the vertex for angle 6 is outside, so outside you have to know that you're going to subtract. So it's going to be 1/2 of the farther one is H minus the closer one is K. So it's farther minus closer. So key here, I'm going to write this in red, is that if it's inside you add. If it's outside, you subtract. You just need to make sure that you're using the correct pieces. Sometimes the pieces that they give you are not the ones that you want to use, so you might have to do a little math to figure out the pieces that you really do want to use. So let's take a look at number 1. Again, the first question you need to ask is, where's the vertex of the angle? So if I look at this right now, that is inside the circle. When it's inside the circle, the formula is I want to do 1/2 of the arc that's across from it, which is 65, plus its vertical arc, which is 55. So that's going to be 1/2 of 120. So our answer for number 1 is going to be 60 degrees. Alright, number 2. Again, first question that you want to answer is, where is the vertex? We're trying to find this outside angle here. So since it's outside, the formula is different. We do 1/2 the farther arc minus the closer arc. So it's going to be 1/2 of 190 is farther minus 60 is closer. Anytime it's outside, we actually subtract. So then that's 1/2 of 130, which is 65 degrees. Alright, let's take a look at number 3. In number 3, the angle is outside the circle again. So we're doing outside. And the formula says I have to do 1/2 arc minus arc. So that's going to be 270 minus 90, which is 1/2 of 180, which gives me 90 degrees. Okay? Hopefully we're doing good so far. So now if you look at number 4, in number 4, first question is, where's the vertex? The vertex again is outside. So here's another one where I know I need to subtract. But there's a problem when we look at it. I don't have a second number. I need to know this other section, because this is my outside arc right now. I need to be able to do outside minus inside, and I don't know the outside arc. So we actually have to do the math of that first, and think of that as a side problem. That's not answering the question yet. This is just what we need to do to be able to set up the question. So I know that circle has to add to 360 degrees. So I can do 360 minus 125. And that tells me that that missing piece is 235. But that is not our answer yet. That's just the missing piece. We need to go back and still make sure we're using the formula for the fact that this is an outside problem. Outside means I have to take half of the 2 arcs subtracted. So you still need to go back and fill in the formula that you're doing farther arc minus closer arc. And then that's going to be 1/2 of 110. So we will get 55 degrees here. Okay? Alright, let's look at number 5 here. So 5, first question is, where's the vertex? The vertex of that angle is outside. So outside I know I'm going to subtract. But there's extra numbers in this one, so it's really important that we're focusing in on the angle itself. If I trace around that angle, the arcs we want to use are these 2 that are inside. These other ones are just extra right now. We're not going to use them. We're just going to do 1/2 of the farther inside arc minus the closer inside arc. That's going to be 1/2 of 45, which is 22.5 degrees. Okay. Alright, the next one, first question again is, where is the vertex? The vertex this side this time is inside, so we're switching back to inside. Remember, for inside we actually add the 2 arcs together. But look at where angle 1 is. Angle 1, what the across arc and the vertical arc are missing. So we're actually going to have to find, I'm just going to call it angle 2 right now. We're actually going to have to find this angle first. So we do know the ones across from there, and it's still inside. So I can do 1/2 of 122 plus 32, which is 1/2 of 54. And then you get 77 degrees. But what we need to realize here is that's that angle up there where I put the green marks. Let me just erase here for a second. That's actually that angle that's across from the 122. This angle here would be 77. That's not the angle that they were asking us for. They're asking us for angle 1. So to find angle 1, you have to realize that together those 2 make a straight line. So you then have to do 180 minus 77 to find that angle 1 answer, which would be 103 degrees. So just make sure when you're using the inside formulas, it only gives you the angle that's across from those arcs. If it happens to be the other angle in the picture, you're going to have to subtract from 180 to find it. Alright, then looking at number 7, first question is, where's the vertex? This is the first one we've seen like this today. This one is on. When it's on the circle, that goes back to the rules we learned last week. On the circle, we just take half the arc. There's no adding or subtracting that we have to do when it's on. You just take half the arc. But if I want to find angle 3 right now, we run into the same problem, is we don't have the arc across from it. So I actually need to work to find this arc piece first. Then I can work with the formula. So I have to do 360 minus 140 to find what that missing section is. Whoops, that missing section is 220. And then we go back to the formula. I know because we're on the circle, I only have to take half of the intercepted arc, which is the 220. And that's going to be 110. So for ones that are on, again, you don't have to do any adding or subtracting. And then the last problem here, it should probably specify what you're trying to find here. I think I cut that off. Yes, there should be an X here. So then if you look at the location of everything, is we do know that angle, but this time what we're trying to find is an arc. We're trying to find the arc. And the vertex is on. So when it's on, we know the angle is equal to half the arc, but we're trying to go the other way, which means to find the arc, we actually have to double it. So it's going to be 140 times 2 to find the arc, which is the bigger part, and the arc's going to be 280 degrees. So that's just like we were doing last week in section 12.3. And that is all for today. I just want you guys to practice some of these on ClassKick because there's some extra steps to them. So if you could try them on ClassKick. If you have any questions, just message me in Hangouts, and then you have some problems to practice on the worksheet as well.